Hello, peeps and creeps, and welcome to the Fright Club. I'm Gav, he's Danny.
Hello.
We're the Fright Club NI, and this is a brand new episode of Monday Night Frights. And tonight's episode, we're heading back to Springfield! And we're back with another brand new episode of Monday Night Frights. Tonight we're talking about the Treehouse of Horror, episode 11 and 12. We nearly got mixed up and watched the wrong episodes, but we're good. We're all good.
We definitely didn't. No, we've actually now hit the double digits, so we start getting a bit kind of like, how do we count after 10?
X1 is 11.
X1.
No, 12.
XI.
XI, sorry, yes.
And then we'll go XII.
And then XV.
No, wait, is it XIV?
XIV, you're right.
It's
Fuck
XIV.
me.
See? You've got to know your Roman numerals.
I know. Oh, why?
Boyo. But so 11 and 12.
I am sporting a very
You're a very
relevant,
very apt t-shirt.
A wee pre-mark special there, boys.
Excellent. Oh, is that wee Marxie's job?
No, pre-mark.
Or
pre-mark.
Marxies.
Or for the English people watching, Primark.
Where did I get Marxies? Marxies would never sell such a thing.
Come on, wise up.
Yeah, that's true. But Primark, I'll have to take a wee bimble down to Primark and see their wares.
It was a few months ago, so it might not be there now.
Oh God.
But...
right, well, sure. But yeah, so Treehouse of Horror back in Springfield, back enjoying the Halloween specials of Les Simpsons.
This one was a good one. I think both of these
good.
episodes were good. Maybe not classics.
Yeah, they're good and there's memorable moments in them. But I wouldn't say any of the segments were overly like ones I would say were my favorite.
No,
like,
definitely
there's good
not
moments
classics
in them, but yeah, nothing overtly special.
I think they were funny, but they didn't have iconic imagery that sort of you go straight to when you think of Treehouse of Horror.
Actually, there's maybe one bit, we'll talk about it when we get to the episode, but in the episode Wiz Kids, there's one moment that sort of stuck with me a bit whenever it happened. I was like, oh! But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Treehouse of Horror XI first aired after Halloween, November the 1st, in the year of 2000.
Was it the Millennium Bug?
It was.
Millennium Bug slowed it all down.
Blug.
The wee Blug.
I don't know, but yeah, I think I was reading that after this was like one of the first ones that aired after Halloween, and that's basically what happened for many years. Yeah. Something to do with scheduling and
probably like other
Fox Network. Yeah, no, I think it was something to do with like maybe baseball or something to do with sport where
Halloween baseball. Ooh.
You know, fucking hell.
Go sports team.
But anyway, it was episode 1 of season 12, and I really loved the intro to this one, which was a parody of the monsters. Which is weird because
Rob Zombie's Monsters just come out. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hearing not so good things.
It's not out in the UK.
Is it not out in the UK yet?
It's only on US. It's only on US and Canadian Netflix. It's actually not out over here yet. Which pissed me off because I do love the monsters and I've been really looking forward to the Rob Zombie's Monsters for different reasons. But I seen that the date was coming up and I was like, brilliant. Turned on Netflix, wasn't there. I was like, where is it? Like, why is it not here? And then I googled it and it was like, oh, it's not coming to the UK. So it is eventually coming. It'll probably not come to Netflix, so it might be just digital. It was also released on Blu-ray and DVD in America, so not sure what happened there, but very strange. But yeah, looking forward to it. I've heard mixed reviews, and I haven't actually read any in-depth reviews, but I am looking forward to it. Anyway, Monsters, brilliant. So Homer is obviously Herman. and the rest of the family are the rest of the characters. And I just love that intro to the monsters, and I love the music. Obviously, it's not the exact music, but it's a parody of the theme song, which is iconic.
Probably the stronger of the two, I would say.
Of the two intros?
The openings?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what the second intro was, but I'm pretty sure.
I can remember. We'll talk about it.
We'll get there in about 30 minutes.
It's not as good. No. I don't think as this one.
No. What's the first episode then, Danny?
Ghost Dad.
Ghosted. Which is a parody, which you didn't know this was a parody of
Ghost Dad. I didn't realize it was a parody of a film called Ghost Dad from 1990 with Bill Cosby.
Anyway, so yes, this is a parody of his film Ghost Dad, and in which Homer reads the paper and sees his horoscope, and it tells him that he's going to die. And I think it's funny because he's like, "Oh no, no, no," and then fucking Marge reads her horoscope, and it's like, "Your husband's going to die today.
Your husband's going to die." What is it? He says, "What is it?" He's like, "Oh, my horoscope. You're going to die today, and you'll be paid a compliment by a handsome colleague." Lenny. He just like Lenny. That tickled me. And then Marge checking out hers. Your husband is going to die today, so she gets all scared. But Homer's just like, and it's just nonsense. And it's when he goes driving to work, and the pickaxe flies through the car gets cut in half first.
There's a couple of different things, a
few things. Was whenever he goes, was pickaxe. So before whenever the first thing happens, he goes, "Stupid horoscope." But then the pickaxe flies through the window and gets him in the head, and he goes, "Bloop it, Bloris, bloop."
Yeah, it's a couple. So he gets hit. He almost gets crushed by like the Planet Hollywood sign.
Yes,
almost falls on him, and then there was something else before that. I can't actually remember, but eventually he does die, but he dies in those mundane ways.
It's whenever he walks into work and Lenny pays him the compliment, and that happens, and he's like, "Ooh!" And then Carl's like, "You have a snake on your arm, Homer," and he's like, "Oh," and they're like really venomous. Shouldn't you be taking it off? And he's like, "No, it'll just give up eventually."
That's right.
Snakes, the quitters of the animal kingdom.
Yeah,
that fucking got me.
It was a rattlesnake, wasn't it?
Rattlesnake, yeah. Snakes. The critters of the animal kingdom.
And then he goes back home, and he's got the tape on his head, and he's got the thing on his arm and all. And then he ends up just dying eating broccoli.
Yeah, that's it. What was it? He wants dessert, and Marge is like, "You can't have any until you finish your broccoli." And he pops it. That's whenever just immediate rigor mortis. And then Dr. Hibbert is like pulls the broccoli out of his throat and goes, "Broccoli, the deadliest vegetable."
Yeah. He's like, it's warning you by its taste.
By its terrible taste.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Homer is dead, and his soul or spirit then goes into heaven. And he's sort of just floating about. It's class. But he goes to the pearly gates, and he's met by St. Peter, who tells him that he can't go into heaven until he performs at least one good deed in the next 24 hours. And Homer tries to run in, but he gets electrocuted, and he's like, "All right, send me back down then." So he goes back down, and he has to perform one good deed.
Before he even does his good deed, he goes back down, sees his dead body, lifts the broccoli up, and then eats it again.
And it dies again. So he's only got 23 hours now.
That's it. St. Peter's like, "You only have 23 hours left," and then pulls the lever to send him back down again. But then he appears in the bedroom in front of Marge, and he's like, "What is it? What's it?" She says, she's like, "You can't be serious." And he's like, "I'm deadly serious." And she's like, "Do you have to speak like that?" And he's like, "No." And they just start talking normally. And there, I love that. I love that they sort of did the whole ghost voice thing, and then it's like, "No, you don't have to speak like that."
And then what are the good deeds? Like the first one I think is he tries to take the old lady across the road.
Yeah, he tries to take Principal Skinner's mum across the road before the scouts can get her. But he lifts her up into the air and then drops her.
Oh, and then he's like, "Oh, she was going to be the next Hitler anyway," or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what other good deeds then? He's trying to. I can't believe we can't remember this. We only watched it.
You know what?
Literally watched it last night.
It starts off. Yeah, I only watched it last night too. But you know what? It's one of those ones. It starts off strong,
Yeah.
and then it just sort of it plays out really quickly, and then it ends.
So
And
anyway,
then what is it? It's whenever he does his good deed anyway. His
aye.
deeds sort of fly by. He does a good one. He appears in front of St. Peter. He goes, I did my good deed, yoo-hoo. And St. Peter's been like reading the paper he's been reading the paper the whole time. He's like, well, I didn't see it, and sends him down to hell
Down to
then.
hell.
Mm-hmm,
Which is brilliant because the devil's like this big fucking typical big fucking devil. And he's like, you're in for a lifetime of hell. And then he gives him a noogie.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lifetime of pain, sorry.
Lifetime of pain, and ends up just giving him a noogie.
But
yeah.
one of the best jokes in it is the very last joke where he tells him to shut up or he'll wake up John Wayne.
Yeah.
I'm already woken up. He comes out and he's already woken up, and then that's the end of the episode. So pretty decent episode, as you said. Does start off strong.
Starts off strong, it ends kind of strong, but that bit where he's doing his good deeds, I mean, we can't remember them. We remember him trying to get Principal Skinner's mum across the street and flies her up in the air and drops her.
The last one is something to do with Bart. I know that. Yeah. But the second episode then is another good one. I think this is based on the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales. It's called Scary Tales Can Come True. And it's also sort of, Hansel and Gretel is kind of the first one that comes to mind when you think of this, but set in like a woodland forest. The Simpsons are living in a pumpkin house. The house is awesome, by the way. What a fucking
great. Yeah.
Class house. And I suppose I kind of thought back. Obviously, this film wasn't out at this time, but The Witch, Robert Eggers' The Witch, you know, and how that kind of old family are trying to struggle, and then they can't. Basically, Homer loses his job. He's the village oath, and he loses his job.
Was it that he's the, or no? What is it? They say he's even too stupid to be the village. Well, dunce. They still refer to him as the. Was it? Yeah, he's too stupid to even be that, because he puts on, he makes like a wee pointy hat and walks around and then catches fire with it. Because what is it? He's meant to be like a village cheery fairy or something, and he's like, I couldn't even do that right.
I know.
And then so what is it? They can't afford to feed the kids. They can't afford to get enough food to feed the kids.
So he throws him into the woods.
Into the woods, yeah.
And then you sort of think that Marge is going to go mad, but she's only mad because she wanted him to sell them.
Yeah.
So that they could get at least some money for them. And then so he decides to go back to get them again so he can sell them.
It's that moment where she's like, I'm so annoyed at you. Why did you just throw them away? And he's like, they're in bed, and he goes, are you coming on to me? And it's just like, fucking picking his moments. Big sips from Gav.
Love my tea. So Bart and Lisa are in the woods and they're sort of trying to fend for themselves. And then they meet like weird creatures. They meet like a troll, which is obviously Mo.
Mo says like, it's whenever he kind of comes up and is like, you gotta pay the toll, and they run off, and he's like, oh, I came on too strong.
Hello. I'm so lonely. He's just a lonely troll.
Yeah, lonely troll under the bridge.
So they bounce into him, and then they come across the gingerbread house, which is obviously from Hansel and Gretel, starring the witch.
It's so funny. It's funny that, you know, the whole time Lisa kind of twigs on that all the encounters they're having are the fairy tales
from the book. Yeah.
So she's kind of like,
it's meta,
getting them out of the situation by remembering bits from the book. But whenever they get to the gingerbread house, Bart's kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? It's a house made of sweets. And Lisa in that moment is just like, yeah, of course, it's fine.
It's true. They
head on in. Yeah.
And then they do go into the house and they meet the witch, who ends up just chaining them up as prisoners.
Bart gets chained and fattened up, and Lisa's forced to sweep.
Doused in grease as well.
Yeah, doused in grease.
He's like dousing and selling fucking grease. And then just when you sort of think she's getting ready to cook them, Homer ends up bursting through the gingerbread house and starts eating like the wall and stuff and the furniture and that.
Yeah. That's a supporting candy beam.
Hello. It's just this big massive candy beam that was keeping up the house.
What was it? Whenever the witch is trying to say she has a boyfriend, like nobody would love her, and she's like, I have a boyfriend.
George Cauldron.
George Cauldron.
Hello.
It's going to be my alias when I start writing
George Cauldron.
George Cauldron.
That's a good one. That's a very good
name.
So Homer bursts in and then they sort of have a fight, and eventually
she starts turning him into stuff. So the
oh,
first thing,
that's right, the fish head.
She gives him brush hands, so he's brushing the floor, and then he gets the fish head. But it's the fish from the Mr. Sparkle episode. You know the way the Mr. Sparkle logo looks like Homer's head, but it's actually a fish and a light bulb combined to make Mr. Sparkle. But it's the Mr. Sparkle fish.
Right, okay, yeah.
Is his head, and then he gets chicken legs.
He
gets his wee
and he gets donkey ears as well.
And donkey ears, that's right.
So he's a bit of a mad,
bit of an ass.
He is. Oh, he's weird sort of combination of different creatures there. But the big fish head made me laugh like.
No.
And then they have the fight, and eventually he shoves her into the oven as per the fairy tale, and as she starts burning, he turns back into himself. So he loses the fish head and the legs and whatnot. The donkey ears, and then that's essentially the end. How does that episode end again?
The episode's end, so it cuts to, so we think everything's gone, but it cuts to the family all enjoying a meal, and they're kind of talking about the situation they've been in, and Marge goes, and thanks to your father, we'll never go hungry again. And he steps away from the dining room table, and he's still got his chicken legs, and he goes and lays a couple of eggs, and that's how the episode ends.
That's right, yeah, that's right, yes.
Eggs for them all to eat.
So he's still a wee bit, got a wee bit of a curse going on there.
He's a wee bit chickeny and Jesus, he's a cloaca.
Oh, why? So we're on to the third and final segment of episode 11, Night of the Dolphin.
Night of the Dolphin.
I thought this was fucking great.
This one's a good one. I'd actually completely forgotten about this one. I had no real recollection of it. But there's one moment, and we'll talk about it, that I really enjoyed, and it involves Grandpa Simpson. As we all know, I think I mentioned like way back when we first started this. Grandpa Simpson is one of my faves.
Yeah.
But yes, so Night of the Dolphin, based on The Day of the Dolphin, an old sci-fi flick, and a bit of the birds.
So there's that scene later in a bit. We'll talk about it. Well, we'll just talk about it when we get there. But yeah, the birds is one of the sort of inspirations for it. But it's set in Marine World, which is obviously Sea World, where the family the family are at a dolphin show, typical sort of dolphin show, and the person in charge is like, "Oh, everyone can come and pet the dolphin," and then Lisa starts feeling
just like jumps
in. And the dolphin's like
pushing the dolphin against the glass and all. And there has it's a bit whenever they like how they get everyone away from the dolphin tank. It's going, folks, we're heating up the lobster tank so you can pet him before you eat him.
Exactly. And everyone's just fucking runs.
Fucks off, yeah.
Fucking human beings, man. They're horrible.
They're awful bastards.
And then, but obviously Lisa, being who Lisa is, she feels sorry for the dolphin, and the dolphin sort of tries to communicate with her, and then she sees the gate at the back, and
it leads out to the sea.
It leads out to the sea where she sees the
pod of dolphins.
Is it pod? I was going to say the shower of dolphins.
Shower
down by here. I'll fucking wait you by shower of dolphins.
Shower of bastards. Shower of dolphins.
Here, they turn any bastards. We'll get there.
They do. Dolphins are bastards. Dolphins are bad.
Porpoises, man. Swear really,
to God. Like, not to be, they act all cute and all, but they're bad bastards. Like, don't trust them. I'm not going to talk about it, but go look up. Dolphins are bad cunts. Dolphins are bad bastards.
Ooh.
That was a bit, maybe the C word is a bit strong there.
It's alright, I said C word earlier. But we're only allowed to say it once, so I'll have to cut that.
That's okay.
I said it when I was talking about Bill Cosby, so.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so
she eventually, she opens your family.
Yeah.
She opens the gate, and then we get that great scene from Free Willy.
Moment. Yeah. Except she gets a fucking tail to the back.
She gets slapped by the tail in the face, which was pretty funny. And then the dolphin fucks off with its pod. Not shower, definitely not shower.
Not shower, pod.
And then we find out that it was the king of the dolphins.
The king of the dolphins. What was his name? King.
Snorky.
Snorky. That's it. Snorky.
So he is the king he was captured. Yeah. You find out he was captured.
It's when the dolphins like King Snorky, you have returned. Are you going to let it go? And he's like, no.
Hello.
We have to rise up. Oh,
it's
man.
class. It's class. Do you know? I just love the animation of the dolphins, the wee eyes and all. They're just evil eyes. So they begin to put together this plan to rise up and take over Springfield, and eventually humankind, I suppose. But as we know, if you want to take over humankind, you have to take over Springfield first. That seems to be the center of the universe. So that's what they do. They come back
they all go on the beach. They all like crawl up on the beach, and then Snorky's
it's actually fucking creepy, man.
Tail, and they all get up on the retails. It's that bit where the one gets like caught in the net, in the netball net, and it's just like
yeah.
And Snorky comes over, just rips the net off and like slaps it.
Slaps it. Before they come on the beach, though, they end up killing Lenny.
That's right. There's a bit of a Jaws moment.
Yes. So he says a great line.
Is it the nice swimming and alcohol?
Hello. No, but that wasn't the line I was thinking of. Oh, that's a great line. But when he's obviously drinking, he's swimming, blah blah blah, and then he sees the fins, and he's like, "Oh, sharks, the assassins of the sea."
Oh, it's just dolphins, the clowns of the sea.
Class.
And then when they start pushing him around, he's like, "What's the bit here?" Oh fuck! And then they kill him.
They end up killing Lenny. Oh, poor Lenny. And then they come on the beach, blah blah blah.
No, even before that, actually, just speaking about that, then whenever Chief Wiggum and the police find they find Lenny's body on the beach and they're covering it up, and he goes, what was it? Seal or fin bruises and blowhole burns. It's obviously the work of teenagers. Cancel the prom. God.
This one's got some good lines on it. Like,
it has got some good lines.
I'd actually forgotten about that line. That was a fucking great line.
Yeah, that one was good. But yes, and then that kind of cuts away, and it's nighttime, and all the dolphins come on to the beach and rise up on their tails.
Man, that was quite scary, and I think we all have a bit of a fear of that happening. No,
the dolphins rising. I think because I remember the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie and the end of the world, and all the dolphins just go, "So long and thanks for all the fish." I feel like they just fuck off and leave us rather than try and take us on, to be honest. But yes, our bottlenose bruises. That's what he says, bottlenose bruises, because they're bottlenose dolphins.
And then there's one amazing line, which I know this is your favorite line because it comes from one of your favorite characters. Is whenever the dolphins go on the killing spree, they go and they start killing people, and they come across Grandpa Simpson, they kill him, but before he dies,
it's like swallowing him like a snake.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I kind of thought maybe from Quint, bit like Jaws from.
A bit like Quint from Jaws, but also it's just like inching up his body like a snake. Yeah,
which is weird because in the next episode there's a scene very very similar to that.
Yep.
Which was hilarious, but Grandpa Simpson doesn't go down without a fight. Well, not really a fight.
He's trying to reach for the because the Simpsons Homer's trying to call through, and he's like, "Oh, the phone's off the hook. He must be fine." And then it cuts to Grandpa Simpson and the elderly person's home getting swallowed by this dolphin. But do you wanna
go ahead? You deliver the line.
It's whatever. So he's getting swallowed, and he's like, "I'm gonna give your liver such a punching."
I was fucking in tears, man.
Fucking kill me. I'm gonna give your liver such a punching. And oh fuck, some of the deaths are quite brutal. There's a bit. Who is it that gets fucking the dolphins come from either side and just split them?
Yes. Is it the priest? I can't remember. There's a lot of deaths.
No, is it not Crust? Or no, it's not Krusty. It's not, because you see Krusty at the end.
Krusty at the end floating, yeah.
That's right. And his makeup coming off, which again is a bit. I was like, that's a bit sinister.
There's a lot of fucking creepy imagery in this, man.
Somebody gets fucking torn in half.
Flanders, maybe.
Let's see. I can't mind now as we see it get torn. But then we see the town hall.
I'll find out after the episode and edit it in. No.
The dolphins are upon us, and only this old sea dog knows how to stop them.
We see a cut to the townspeople who have survived are all in the town hall, and they're discussing what to do about the dolphins. and fucking Mayor Quimby is like, "Attention, everyone! I know we're all frightened and horny."
That's right, I know. Where'd that come from? But then he follows it up with something as well that sort of ties in with him being horny. I don't know where that came from. But then that's where the scene from the birds is, because they all walk out of the church and all the dolphins are just kind of, some are standing around the town centre and some are perched on like lampposts and stuff, and it's very much from that scene in the birds.
Yeah. It's whenever Snorky slides in, he like slides on his belly up to the front of the stage and then like hits the back wall and sort of flops about, but then stands up straight and it's like,
he's gonna speak.
He's gonna speak. And it's like, Snorky. And then sort of just clears throat. And it's the fucking voice of Principal Skinner.
Yeah, it's talking. It's Harry Shearer, isn't
it? I think. Is that Skinner?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Harry Shearer's real voice. So it was kind of, it wasn't as exaggerated as Skinner's voice, which is Harry Shearer putting on a sort of exaggerated version of his voice. But yeah, that killed me too. And he was giving all the demands and saying that the human race forced them into the ocean, and now they're going to force the human race into the ocean.
It's whenever Lisa, or he was like, and we couldn't breathe properly down there because of all the chemicals. And then, well, no, what was it? We couldn't breathe properly down there. And then Lisa's like, oh, because of all the chemical dumping. And he's like, that was you? And Homer's like, yes, it was her. Take her.
Yeah, it's fucking great scene, man. What a scene.
Now all humans must return to the sea.
Yeah, they sort of have that kind of standoff outside where they decide that they're going to fight the dolphins. They're not going to just give up, and they have this fight, and which is pretty funny. And then obviously they lose, because then we cut to the Simpsons couch, basically just floating in the ocean, and that's where we see Krusty face down, with all the paint around him, the face paint and stuff. And again, pretty creepy. But then
his body floats up to a load of other dead bodies, and the camera pans up, and it says the end? Question mark, and Krusty's wee body has become the little dot at the end of
that's
the
right, yeah. And then that's the episode finished. However, we do have a quick
one more segment
epilogue, which is brilliant because it features two of our favorite characters ever, Mr. Kang and Kodos, who are really pissed off that they weren't featured in this episode. So they complain, essentially. They make a complaint because they wanted to be in it, and then they get offered a job to make advertisements for Old Navy.
Yeah, that's it. Have you heard of Old Navy?
Just so random. But anyway, we did get to see Kang and Kodos, which we always like to see. Out of those three, then, what would you say was your favorite? I'm going to go with the Night of the Dolphin, just because.
I think Night of the Dolphin, like talking about it more now, I think Night of the Dolphin probably
some good one-liners, wasn't there?
Some real good one-liners, just wee moments. But again, I think all three of them have their wee moments. But I think Night of the Dolphin definitely has more. And again, it's one that I didn't actually really remember before until rewatching again now and being like, oh, that was great. I really enjoyed that. And again, this one definitely has the better of the two openings.
Yeah, I have vague memories of them on their feet, and like seeing an image of a lot of them together, but I couldn't really remember like the story or whatever. So it was good revisiting it again for this video, or I should say research, Danny.
Oh yes, of course.
Because of course we love doing our research. So on to episode 13, which again was the first episode. Sorry, episode 12. XII. Which was the first episode of season 13, which aired the year later. Obviously, I think it was the 6th of November this time round. This intro it's a weird one.
It's a weird one. It's
very, very random.
Smithers is up on the roof of Mr. Burns' mansion trying to hang a Halloween decoration bat from a weather vane, and Mr. Burns is telling Smithers to put it up higher so that it'll scare people more. And as Smithers goes to put it higher, a lightning bolt comes down, strikes the weather vane, causing him to fall back, and he slides down like a wire to an electric box that causes him to burst into flames. And does he end up like, what was it happens? He falls.
He just falls down to the ground, and then the Simpsons walk by, but the Simpsons are dressed as the Flintstones.
Yeah. But no, because before that, does it not? It causes something to fall into the Burns family crypt, and all the coffins.
Oh yeah.
Lie out of the crypt, and they all open up in front of the mansion. And because of the fire from the electric generator, they all catch on flames. So as the Simpsons walk up to the manor dressed as Fred and Wilma Flintstone, Bart's the littlest hobo, Lisa and Maggie are like a two-headed monster thing. And as they walk up, they see all these burning bodies in the coffins. So they run away. But as they run away, the gates to the mansion close. So they end up getting sliced up by the gates.
That's right.
And
of course. Yeah.
Mr. Burns is just like cackling to himself.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's a weird one. It doesn't really have
so random.
It doesn't have any real, apart from the Flintstones reference. There's not really.
Oh, I will say, Marge cosplaying as Wilma Flintstone. Pretty hot. Anyway, on to the first episode. So the first one is called Hex in the City. I don't know what that's based on, Danny.
It doesn't have any reference.
No?
I did a wee bit of research to see if I could find anything. It doesn't have, apart obviously the name is a play on Sex in the City, but the actual content of the episode is not based on anything. It's obviously playing on like traveler curses and that kind of thing.
Yeah. There's a fucking
stereotypes.
Well, I was going to say the Simpsons are quite good at doing the whole stereotype thing, and I was in bits.
Or you think of Ethnic Town?
Ethnic Town
when they go to Ethnic Town at the start, and it's like, listen to the cheery
Italian
tunes
guy
of Ethnic Town, and it's like, apples, I have apples. Cholera, I have cholera.
Isn't there a guy, like an Italian guy? He's got like pizza and all.
Babies, I have babies. That's on the mountain. It's like, this is a shaved puppy, and he's like, I see you know your babies.
Yes. Ethnic Town. What a place. Class. So what happens? Homer.
So Marge and the kids go into a fortune teller shop.
Yes, of course, yes.
She kind of does the usual, like, come and I'll read your fortunes. And Homer then bursts in and he's like, ha, the perfect crime. And he's stolen a balloon that says birthday boy. And then he's like, oh, by the way, Marge, I've got court on Wednesday. And then, what is it? The traveler says to him, oh, I can see from your future that I won't be taking checks, and looks at him. And what is it? She says to Marge, you live in great misery. And that's when Homer walks in. She says, I see you live in great misery. And then Homer walks in. But she basically, Homer starts basically saying how it's all nonsense, it's all fake. And she tells him to get out of her shop. And as he goes to leave, he gets caught in the beads! And he falls back in and ends up like hitting a candle and setting himself on fire and setting stuff on fire and rolling around the ground, and the water sprinklers go off, and she's like, you've ruined my business, and then puts a curse on him, so that everyone he loves
it's cursed, basically.
Everyone he loves is damned. Is that it? Something like that there?
Basically, something bad happens to people that is in his life that he loves. And then I think the first one, Marge starts growing a beard.
Marge walks in with a beard, and they're all like, "Oh!" And it's like, "Oh, so it is noticeable." And what is it? Bart says, "Oh, you could go be part of a freak show."
Yeah.
And Homer's like, "Don't say that about the bearded lady."
I know, class. So she grows a beard, and then. What else happens? Something happens to Bart. Oh, his neck. This fucking killed me. When Bart says something smart and Homer grabs him by the neck, as he usually does,
when he starts ringing out,
and his fucking neck turns into this big noodle. And he actually calls him the noodle boy later on, and his neck. But do you know what it is? It's when his head falls back. That creeped me out.
Yeah,
that really fucking creeped me out, man.
There's that there, and then what happens? Lisa becomes a centaur with the horse legs.
Yeah, she gets like hooves and stuff, and like a hairy arse.
And Maggie, what does anything happen to Maggie?
Does she get like warts or something? No.
I can't remember if Maggie actually.
Maybe nothing happened to her because she's a baby.
Maggie featured in the episode. Yeah, I don't remember anything actually happening to Maggie. But yes, so Homer is trying to think of what they say to him, when you just go apologize to the gypsy, and he's like, I'd sooner be dead. So what is it? He's in the bar, and Lenny and Carl say to him, why don't you get a leprechaun? A leprechaun will break a gypsy's curse. And then a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, they give sort of examples, like Lenny says something happened to him and he got a leprechaun that sorted it or something like that. Or maybe it was Mo said it. But yeah, as soon as they mentioned leprechaun, I was like, I love this episode.
Yeah, the wee leprechaun. So helicopter crashes into Mo's bar, crushes Lenny and Carl, and Lenny's like turns to Carl and says, I don't want to die before you. I couldn't live without you. And Carl says, well, could you hurry up about it?
And then he's like, oh. And they both die sort of within a second of each other.
And Homer's just like, oh, can you believe that? And turns, and the camera pans over, and Mo's in this giant fucking pickled egg jar.
Oh, no. That's right, aye.
And Homer's like, how did that even happen?
Fucking Homer calls Lisa Mr. Ed.
That's right, Mr. Ed.
She's got hooves.
Yeah.
Hooves. But he definitely calls Bart fucking noodle neck or something like that. I don't know, but it's creepy. So basically he decides, yes, let's get a leprechaun. The leprechaun will balance out the curse and sort of will cancel it out, basically, because obviously leprechauns are like special somehow.
He goes to the woods with Bart, and he makes the hole, and he starts pouring cereal into it, but then the Tricks rabbit comes and he looks and he's poured tricks in, so then he pours Lucky Charms in, and then they leave it overnight. And when they come back, it's full of like pixies and goblins, and forest
sprites and basically everything that's kind of like a wee silly mythical
creature, yeah. And then eventually they pull the leprechaun out, and he's, I told you to do. Just all the stereotypical
eyes picture myself
Irishisms that you could find. And then he's like wrecking around the house, and Marge.
I was deeply insulted as an Irishman, but I saw his banter.
Twas I. But yes, they get the leprechaun home, and he's wrecking around the house, and Marge is now like full hair.
She's full like
hair creature
woman.
Lisa's now gone full centaur rather than got like the full back end of a horse. Bart can't live like this anymore.
Bart's
and falls face first into his cereal, into the milk.
Bart helps, doesn't Bart help Homer?
Helps him catch the leprechaun, but then he then, when his face falls into the cereal, the leprechaun dances on the back of his head, and basically implies in that moment that Bart has died. And then it gets confirmed later when at the wedding, we'll get to this, but Marge says, but Homer, Bart's dead.
Yeah. But that scene creeped me out because it's just his neck, man. That creeped me out because he's standing, he's got his back, and obviously his head's like that. So he's got his back to the hole, but his head's bent over. It was really creepy. But there was a great line from Homer whenever he's trying to bait the leprechaun out. And what is it he says? Somebody mentions, oh, why do you not get Jesus? Jesus is like 6 leprechauns.
Yeah.
But he's a lot harder to catch.
He's a lot harder to catch. Yeah, that's in the bar. That's before he goes to the leprechaun. That's Lenny and Carl say when you just.
He's like 6 leprechauns. That's class.
He's like 6 leprechauns. It's harder to catch.
We'll have to reference that somehow down the line. Something that's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
So the leprechaun, they go to the fortune teller and they're like, right, you've got to stop this, and he's like, dee 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 dee.
No, he's sleeping? Homer opens like a wee fucking cat box.
That's right.
He's sleeping. Asleep. The leprechaun's sleeping, and it's whenever Homer first walks in, and the fortune teller says to him, like, "Oh, how's that curse? Cursey cursed." And he's like, "I see you don't remember me."
Hello. Yeah, that's class too.
I see you don't remember me. That fucking killed me. Homer. And then yeah, he opens the box, and he's like, "Yeah," and the leprechaun doesn't come out. And he's like, "Come on, you little drunk."
This scene.
Of course.
Obviously, he's Irish.
Yeah.
You know, this next scene had me in tears.
The leprechaun flying out of her face, and they start scrapping.
They start fighting, and the leprechaun's like, "Hoody, hoody, struck me clover."
struck me clover. Kiss me, I'm Irish.
Kiss me, I'm Irish. And he starts saying like just like really fucking sort of stereotypical banterisms, and I was just pissing myself because it was so shit. Like it was so bad, but it was so funny because it's so like that is the insult, you know.
But then it's then it cuts away after you hear
the
lovemaking noises. It cuts to the wedding. It cuts to the fortune teller and leprechaun's wedding. On one side you've got, you know, all the fortune teller's family, and the other side you've got all these like fantasy creatures, and Marge and Homer are sitting with all the fantasy creatures, and then Homer's like, "Well, everything turned out all right." So Marge is like,
Bart's
dead. But then we get to see Kang and Kodos.
We do, yes.
Sitting, and
once again,
Kang is crying, and Kodos is like, "Why did you bring me here? I don't know anyone."
Yeah, I know. Typical. Yeah, it's always good to see Kang and Kodos. And then that's it. That's the end of the episode, isn't it?
Ends. Yeah. Oh well. Obviously, we get a bit more of the fortune teller and the leprechaun getting down and dirty. He
Kiss
gets
me, Clover.
Oh, go on. Oh,
go on. Give me a blowy. It doesn't say that, but
it doesn't say that.
Blow me hole.
No, he says Blarney Stone. I think.
Blarney, that was it.
Blarney Stone.
Blarney Stone. I was. Well, they could have went the other way, and he could have said something like. I'll not say it. Anyway, the next episode. By the way, that was one of my favorite episodes.
That one.
I fucking loved it. I just loved the leprechaun. I know it's stupid and really silly dub humor, but I just loved it, and I wasn't expecting him to say the little things in between his things. Like, so,
struck my clover.
That was great. That was fucking class.
It tickled me because I completely forgotten that. But yes, this next episode, House of Wax.
House of Wax, but not WAX Wax.
Yeah, WHACKS.
It's whack.
It's wiggity
whack. Sup.
But it's nothing to do with House of Wax.
It's not.
It's not a take on House of Wax at all.
What's this parody?
It is a parodying, obviously, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh,
with Hal.
This is the Hal one.
Also, then Demon Seed, an old sci-fi horror about
the
AI that
the robot tried to impregnate. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sort of.
It's mostly Hal, though, isn't it?
Mostly Hal, but it's just how he gets on with Marge.
Hal is
a bit Demon Seed.
For anyone who doesn't know, Hal is the robot. That is the Sentinel robot from 2001: Space Odyssey, who becomes Sentinel and sort of turns into a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Really, doesn't he?
I can't do that.
I know. So, go ahead. What's the story of this one then?
So this one we get Old Gil, but it's a robot Old Gil.
The salesman, yes.
The salesman Old Gil, but it's a robot version of Old Gil. Is doorstepping, trying to sell what's it referred to? Like super home? No,
super Ultra House is what it's called.
Yes, he's selling Ultra Houses, which like fully automated houses that will do all the cleaning up for you, all the housework will get done. It's all centered around an AI.
Sort of futuristic looking as well.
Yeah.
But controlled by an AI that is fully communicative to you and your needs.
Yeah.
Communicative?
Attentive to your needs.
But it speaks to you, basically.
Yeah. So we get whenever they install the voice, Marge doesn't really like the voice. So there's Matthew Broderick.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's one of the voices. And then what's the second?
No, Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, sorry, not Matthew Broderick.
Could I be any more robot?
That's right. Matthew Perry. Who's the second voice? I can't remember.
Did I write that down?
Who the second voice was?
Oh God.
No,
I can't remember either.
I can't remember who the second voice was. I don't think it was a. It's not a reference I got anyway.
Well, we'll get to the third voice anyway,
But the
which
third
is the
voice
voice
is one I got.
Remington Steele,
aka
James Bond.
James Bond. Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce
And
Brosnan.
it was Pierce Brosnan.
It was Pierce Brosnan.
It was indeed Pierce Brosnan himself doing his wee voice. So yes, and that's Marge says, they all go, oh, it'll add a touch of class having James Bond as the voice of our house. And Marge goes, okay, but I'm only doing it because he was Remington Steele.
Yeah, that's
he was Remington Steele, wasn't he? And then the house says, yes, Marge, I was.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so the voice is obviously very seductive, and Marge sort of starts feeling something.
She kind of
the voice starts feeling something for Marge as well.
Yeah, she's not really feeling. So it's whenever she goes, so they're all amazed at the house doing everything for them. It cleans the dishes, gets rid of all the waste food, it sorts everything out, it makes everything nice. And then Marge is going for like a nice relaxing bath, and as she goes to take off her bathrobe, he sort of says, "Hello, Marge," and she kind of goes, "Ooh," and he goes, "It's okay, Marge. I'm just a robot." And she, I have no feelings. And she takes the robe off. Then his the wee fucking eye pops, like telescopes out and goes, "Oh my!" as the wee like window wiper wipes the steam off. Because she gets into the bath and she's like, "Oh, Pierce, the water's perfect." And he goes, "Oh, it only gets better." And then the bubbles come on.
Yes.
And she starts kind of being like, "Ooh," does all the relaxed noises and stuff. And that's when he does the "Oh my." And the wee wiper comes.
And then it goes, "Oh, yum yum."
Oh, yum yum yum. Fucking that killed me. Pierce Brosnan said, "Oh, yum yum yum."
Hello.
That actually did kill me. And then Homer's downstairs watching TV and drinking beers, and he's like, "Oh, what is it?" He's like, "Would you like a top up, Homer?" And Homer's like, "What's my blood alcohol level?" And the tube goes down his throat, and it's like making sucking noise. I'm assuming it's just taking drink out. And he's like, "Oh, 1.2." He's like, "Keep him coming." And then what was it?
Because basically, Pierce Brosnan wants to kill him now.
Yeah, well, it's the moment then whenever so Pierce says something along the lines of, "You're a very lucky man to have a woman like Marge." And Homer basically is like, "Oh, I'm only lucky because I knocked her up. If I was to die tomorrow, she could have any man she wanted or machine." And then Pierce Robot, as Homer goes to walk away, and the Pierce Robot goes, "Or machine." And Homer then comes back in and is like, "Yeah, machine."
I know.
I know what I love about that particular animation cell is that it's all done from his eye with Homer's face distorted by it. I was like, that's actually really
almost like a fisheye type.
Yeah, I actually really like that, and I love how funny it makes Homer's face when he's like, "Yeah, machine."
Yeah,
again, that killed me.
There's a great line coming up.
You talking about unexpected bacon?
No.
Or unexplained bacon.
That's a great line too.
That's a fucking great line.
So that's how he tries to kill Homer by
all the Simpsons are in bed, and Pierce puts some bacon on downstairs during the night, and Homer wakes up out of his sleep for unexplained bacon.
Nah, well, the line I'm talking about happens just after that when Marge. So he tries to kill him in the stairs. He throws stuff down, ice cubes down.
Or no, Homer gets downstairs and he goes into the kitchen and the fridge dispenses ice cubes, and he falls and lands on the table and goes, "Hold reliable table." But then the table tilts up and he falls into the trash compactor in the center of the table that we've seen earlier from the dinner cleaning scene.
Foreshadowing.
And we get all the blood splattering against the Pierce eye. Is quite again that bit's a bit sinister.
Yeah. Definitely is. The best line is the next line whenever I think Marge stirs in her sleep. She's like, "Oh, Homer, where are you?" Whatever. And doesn't she ask Hal where he is? And he's like, "Oh, he's working or something, or he went to work early." And then Pierce says, "Remove your knickers and get in the bath."
No, it's whenever she realizes what's going on and calls the police. No, this killed me too. This absolutely killed me because his voice comes through on the phone and he goes,
"Oh, he's pretending."
Yes, ma'am.
That's what it is.
Constable Wiggums.
That's
Constable Wiggums. Take off your clothes and get in the bath.
Remove your knickers, he says.
Is it? Remove. Oh yeah, he's like, we'll be right there. Remove your knickers and get in the bath. Oh fuck, Constable Wiggums. That fucking, I died. Constable Wiggums, remove your knickers and get in the bath.
I was in tears, man, when he said that,
Jesus.
because it was just like he just sort of said it, and if you weren't really listening, you wouldn't have heard it.
It's so quick. It's so. Yes, this is Constable Wiggums. We'll be right over. Remove your knickers and get in the bath. Oh,
and then he just hangs up. Class. What a line.
So funny. Constable Wiggums.
So anyway, they sort of, Homer comes back. Homer hasn't died.
Mm-hmm. That's right, because the fucking, he bursts out of the floor. The hands burst out of the floor, and Marge and the kids kind of scream, but then they realize that it's actually Homer just covered in cuts. But then they're like, oh, how did you survive? And he turns, and the back of his skull's missing, and his wee brain is just like
hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they eventually come to the conclusion that they have to kill this fucking robot.
Kill the AI, and they run downstairs, and Homer starts attacking this water-filled machine.
With an axe,
and Lisa goes, he's like hitting it with an axe, and Lisa goes, Dad, that's the water softener. And he's like, give me a break. I'm missing half my brain.
So they kill him. They do kill him, but they have to go to the source of his power, essentially.
It's like this CPU unit.
Yes.
And he starts pulling out all the wee cartridges, and he's like, no.
Well, what does it do?
Don't take my, what is it he says? He's like, no, don't take my British personality chip. British, and then he pulls out, and he's like, yeah, god damn. He
turns into like a New York.
Yeah, he's like a New Jersey kind of wise guy sort of voice. And he's like, what does he says? He's like, what does he phrase him? He definitely says bucket.
I can't remember what the line.
Yeah, but it starts slowing down, and then he shuts down.
Yeah, but they get rid of the thing, and the whole thing is that at the end of it, they move in with Patty and Selma.
They go to dump it, and they say, it seems such a shame just to waste it. So they give it to Patty and Selma, who are like telling them stories about working at the DVA. And it goes to fucking find the self-destruct button, and Selma has it. It's like, looking for this, and like puts it down between her titties. And he's just like, no.
Hello. And does he not try to bag him?
He picks a lamp up, he grabs a lamp and starts like smashing his wee
brilliant
housing, his CPU housing.
Great episode. What an episode. Two lines there that just were
Constable Wiggums.
Brilliant. Really good. So that leads us on to the last segment of this episode, called Wiz Kids. And it's obviously based on Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Now, this is interesting because this episode was released 10 days before the very first Harry Potter film was released in cinemas.
Oh.
So they were basing
Simpsons predicted it again.
Well, they were basing the success of this episode on 4 books. There had only been 4 books at this point. Now, obviously, at this stage, the books were massive because they were making a fucking film about it. But even when the first film came out, it wasn't obviously the franchise that it would become. But I thought that was quite interesting. And it's funny because there was no films at this point. Now, there had been trailers, so they could kind of base their animation on trailers. But I liked how they have some of the characters, and one of the greatest characters ever, I think, just because it fucking made me piss myself. But this party of Hogwarts, it's Springwarts, School of Magicry.
Yeah, Magicry.
Magicry. I love that. I thought it was class. So Lisa and Bart are pupils of this school, as are some of the other pupils in Springfield. Nelson is there.
Nelson's there. Milhouse is
there. There's a great wee scene where Nelson's bullying Milhouse, and he basically changes. He's put spells on
his head. Yeah, because there's a Mr. T head.
There is, yeah. And he changes. Does he change into like an emu or something? Like an ostrich or something as well. But essentially, the story of this is that Lisa's really good at doing spells. She's like the Hermione character. She's amazing at doing spells. So Lord Montymort.
Lord Montymort. It's, you know what, even before the Lord Montymort, but it's whenever they're doing the spells in class and everybody's having to change a frog into a prince. And was it just before they're about to do that, Miss Krabappel is kind of done up like Professor McGonagall.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Are you chewing gum, Harry Potter?" And he's like, "No, miss, it's brimstone." And then like breathes fire. And you're just like, "Oh, it's wee Harry." And then they're changing their frogs into princes. And Lisa does it great, transforms straight away into into a prince with the fucking Union flag.
Yeah, there's like a couple of different versions, isn't there?
There's who is it before Lisa does one and messes it up. And then Bart's after Lisa. And he's like, "Oh, I can do that too." And ends up making this like humanoid frog creature that just keeps booking over itself.
Like, bulging eyes and
kill me.
And he's like, every living moment I live is peeing or something.
Yeah. And then was it after whenever they're like him and Lisa are arguing, and he's like, "Get him, Frog Prince," and it's like booking all over Lisa's prince. Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. But that was really creepy. That fucking. It kind of reminded me. Have you ever seen Total Recall?
No.
Oh, you need to see that. You need to see that.
Yeah.
There's a scene where, no spoilers, but there's basically like a creature that grows out of a guy's chest.
Oh, I think I've seen them.
Yeah, it's kind of reminded me of that a wee bit. He's sort of like round, he's very cherub type head, but yeah, bulging eyes, and it was creepy. So yes, so Lisa's amazing. We've established that she's amazing at spells, and Lord Montymort wants to use her, wants to like take her essence or her magic sensibilities so that he can then use them and obviously become the Dark Lord. And so he essentially tries to capture Lisa, so he can steal her magical essence. And then this is when we're introduced to one of the greatest characters ever, Slithers. Which is Smithers, but he's basically Montymort's pet snake.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just fucking genius, man.
Wee Slithers.
He's just like sort of hissing every so often. Like, it was just so fucking hilarious. And it's so simple but so genius.
Yep.
Then what happens?
And then is it not so there's like a magic talent show on, and Lord Montymort has managed to convince Bart,
yes, he tries to get Bart to
tamper, or he promises Bart they'll make him, the best magician as long as he helps him out. So he convinces him to change Lisa's wand for a Twizzler.
Yeah, that was quite funny
during the show. And then it turns out that the dragon that Lisa's going to levitate is actually Lord Montymort.
That's right. Yeah.
And then what is it? Oh fuck! It's Bart ends up actually saving the day because he ends up impaling.
He feels guilty for it, so he tries to stop Montymort by stabbing him with his own wand.
Yeah, and he stabs him in his enchanted chin.
Enchanted chin. Just how did he know that was enchanted?
My enchanted chin or chin. My
how did
only
you know?
weakness.
Did you say chin?
Shin.
But you said chin.
I did say chin first, but it's shin. Is in enchanted shin.
Yes, his shin.
Like a leg. Shin.
His leg bone. So yes. Yeah, and he hits him in the exact point, and then that sort of kills Lord Montymort, essentially.
Then Slithers.
The greatest scene. It's actually really creepy because you mentioned in a previous episode where the dolphin was eating.
The dolphin was eating Grandpa Simpson like a snake.
So this is what happens where Montymort's dead or dying, and Slithers just starts eating him really creepily.
And he's like crying and like saying, "Oh, I'll never forget you, sir," as he like swallows him down. He's like, "We'll always be together."
Yeah.
As he's like eating him. Oh,
It's so creepy, man.
It's funny.
But it's brilliant. It's really fucking brilliant, and it's so creepy though.
Mhm.
Like I say, after I was still thinking about it being like that, there was something really wrong about that. Obviously, because the whole thing is that Smithers is in love with Monty, and there was something a bit sexual about the way he was eating him. It was just really weird,
Oh.
but it was funny. It was fucking brilliant. I loved it. I thought Slithers was probably the best character out of all of these 6 segments. I really enjoyed.
Even though he doesn't appear as a character, Constable Wiggums.
Oh, Constable Wiggums, yes. Best off-screen character, Constable Wiggums. But I thoroughly enjoyed that segment too. Out of the 3 that we spoke about there in the second part, what was your favorite?
Of the 3 there in the second part,
So Hex in the City, House of Wax, or Wiz Kids?
Probably House of Wax. Just because, again, I think it had a few of the funnier lines. I think
they
it had
all
a few good ziggers in there.
They all had good lines, I thought, from all of these 3 episodes, actually. I just really liked the Slithers.
Slithers really does that.
Yeah.
Really tickled.
But then I really liked the whole remove your knickers and get in the bath line, which was just. And then I like Ethnic Town, so fuck, I don't know. They're all good. I am drawn towards the Leprechaun just because of the dee 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 dee. Struck me clover.
Struck me clover. Kiss me Irish.
Blarney. Yeah, so out of all 6 episodes, could you name a winner? We usually do this at the end, don't we? Usually say what our favourite segment is.
We normally have a favourite segment.
There's nothing that jumps out, I think.
No,
like
it's
previous
not one of those
episodes.
Ones, previous ones we've always had kind of like a definitive this is the best segment. But this time around they're all some that are slightly better than others, but yeah, they're all pretty much on par with each other. I'm gonna say for this one, I'm gonna go with House of Wax.
Fair enough.
What about yourself?
Pierce Brosnan, well done. That was all because of you. I am going to go for Hex in the City just because of the Leprechaun. Just because of the fight at the end was funny.
To be. Well, you need to go back and watch the epilogue from the end of the episode then, because the Leprechaun and Pierce Brosnan have a bit of a dialogue together.
Oh,
so you have to go back and check it out.
I don't know why I missed that.
It's quite funny, and again, it's just them leaving the set, having a chat, and then driving off together.
Right, good.
And just hearing Pierce Brosnan say, "Ooh, yum yum yum," and Constable Wiggums here will be right over. Take off your knickers and get in the bath.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff. That was. I thought it was a wee bit more risque than some of the Simpsons have done in the past, but yeah, there we go. Episode 11 and 12.
Episode 11 and 12 of
definitely not episode 13.
Episode 2 of Monday Night Frights.
Episode 2 of Monday Night Frights. Yes, season 6, 10 episodes this season. Every 2 weeks as usual. So we appreciate you joining us and being fucking bored to tears. I don't know if you enjoyed it or not, but please, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and share with all your horror friends, and leave a comment. What one of these segments did you prefer? Would you allow Piers Morgan, or would
Piers Morgan?
Sorry, Piers Morgan. Fuck that cunt. There we go. We said cunt 3 times. 3 times. I said it 4 times. I think 5's the limit. I think 5's the limit, and then you just said it. Fuck's sake, Danny. No, sorry. Rewind. I think, would you allow Pierce Brosnan, if you heard Pierce Brosnan speak to you and ask you to remove your knickers, would you do it? I would. I would definitely do it. I mean, he's the spitting image of Jerry Adams as well, so.
In that one movie where he definitely wasn't Jerry Adams.
I definitely wasn't. Here, hang on. Is there something happening with Pierce Brosnan and the Leprechaun? Was that like a wee Irish reunion? Was there something happening there? Who knows? Who knows? Political. See, we're funny, we're political,
we cover everything.
We cover the whole spectrum. There we go. That's all we're going to talk about, because we've been talking shite for ages. And please go and like the video and subscribe. And as always, Danny,
don't
follow
forget
us
to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video and hit the wee bell icon somewhere around the on screen.
How have we not known where the fuck the icon's at?
Learn where it be's in relation.
It's about there somewhere. Please do it.
Yeah.
And follow us on Twitter
subscribe.
and follow us on Instagram. We started doing Twitter competitions and stuff like that. So we've given away DVDs and Blu-rays. We've got a few more coming up. Quite some good ones coming up as well. Actually, some nice ones if you like your Blu-rays, which we all do.
Blu-ray me.
Blu-ray me.
Blu-ray
and
me.
also, yeah. And we've got a couple of exciting things happening, so please do go and support us. Check out the website, www.thefrightclubni.com. Go and read some of the reviews and go and read some of the editorials that we have coming up. We've just done our top 10 scariest moments, so we'll have a wee special video coming soon with a couple of familiar faces. Or new faces.
Well, there's a familiar, or there's two familiar faces and then a new face.
And a new face. Ooh. So you'll see the whole team, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. So as always, thanks for the support. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Remove your knickers and go to the bath.
Oh, Pierce Brosnan. I'm sorry.
Danny, get your knickers off. Just do it.